just, guys, let me explain something to you. Jon Jones is a whole nother. I consider Jon Jones the greatest combat fighter of all time. Jon Jones is a killer. He is the greatest combat fighter of all time. Period. End of story. There's not even an argument.
Yes, you heard it. Jon Jones is the greatest and the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. At least, that's what Dana White's been telling us for the past few months.
Did I mention to you guys that Jon Jones is the greatest of all time? Did I mention that?
So let's take a look at some of Dana White's best moments glazing over Jon Jones. Enjoy.
Now, I'm just going by what he said. Right. He said Jon Jones was afraid of him. Do you believe Jon Jones was afraid of Francis?
Not only is Jon Jones not afraid of Francis, Jon Jones is the baddest fighter to ever live. Ever. In any combat sport. Listen, I'm going to say it right here, right now. The greatest fighter to ever live, ever, is Jon Jones. When you look at, Jon Jones has never lost a fight.
Wow.
Because when you really think about fighting, put two guys in a room and who comes out? Jon Jones walks out of that room every time. Anybody deny this guy is the GOAT anymore? I don't think anybody would deny it. Not only is he the greatest light heavyweight ever, he looks like the greatest heavyweight ever, too. You know, when you see Jon on camera, and if you were in here talking to Jon Jones, it's almost uncomfortable for him to do this shit. But Jon Jones beats the fuck out of people, right? And when you talk about truly, right now, in Islam, I love you, Islam, and everything, the fact that Jon Jones is number 2 on the pound-for-pound list is it just goes to show how stupid the media votes on that.
Yeah.
Then it just goes to show you that they have no idea. They know nothing about this sport. I mean, there were a couple of interviews leading up to this fight where he was saying, I'm going to make this look easy. And I thought that was a silly thing to say. The guy is unbelievable, man. He really is.
Jan Blachowicz refractor. Ooh, Jon Jones.
That's badass. That is badass. Look at that card.
That's a very special card.
It's like the king.
That's nasty. Greatest fighter in the world.
We got a Jon Jones card that looks like a king. Are you kidding me right now?
Just to go back to Islam, he's now on a 14-fight winning streak. What would it take for him to surpass Jon Jones in your mind for that pound-for-pound number 1?
I mean, when you think about what pound for pound really means, he fought Volkanovski, who's a weight class lower than him. Jon Jones beat everybody at light heavyweight, then beat the best heavyweight in the division like it was nothing at a higher weight class.
So, I mean,
Jon Jones is absolutely positively the pound for pound best fighter in the world, probably the greatest fighter of all time in any sport. You said he was 230 today, right? Some of these heavyweights, they're cutting to 265. This is the problem with the conversation that we're having here and why people aren't giving Jon Jones the respect for pound. This fucking guy destroyed the best heavyweight in the division. Easily made it look like nothing. Jon Jones is the pound for pound best fighter in the world and the greatest fighter fucking ever. Period. End of story. It's just, guys, let me explain something to you. Jon Jones is a whole nother. I consider Jon Jones the greatest combat fighter of all time. When you talk about the Alis and the this and the that.
Oh, and that, wow.
And let me tell you what, I got Ali's picture hung everywhere. I love Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
I love Mike Tyson. Jon Jones is the nastiest dude ever in the history.
And in no way trying to diminish Jon's accomplishments, but like, you know, he's fought once in the last however many years. Islam's fighting multiple times a year, defending. So like, at what point does activity outweigh, Jon's?
Beautiful. I like that you asked that question. Let's talk about activity. 3 years off. Nobody, not even Ali. Nobody's ever come from 3 years off and looked the same. Jon Jones walked through the heavyweight, the number 1 guy in the heavyweight division, like it was nothing, with 3 years off. Yeah. Jon Jones is the best ever. Ever. And when I say ever, I mean in any combat sport. He's the best ever. And I always say this about Jon's got a dark side to him, man. Jon's got like those dogs that'll rip your arms apart and do all that. He shoots guns. Jon Jones is a killer.
in every way that you can be. When the stuff was going on during COVID and there was riots and people were spray painting down, Jon Jones like went into town and was taking spray cans out of people's hands and slapping them and saying, "Go home. You're not up my town." And like, I mean, this Jon Jones is.
My follow-up question was going to be, Shaq at the peak of his powers. I've heard the way you speak of Jon Jones.
No.
How would that have gone?
Not good. When you watch the video of him and Cormier, and they don't know that they're live being filmed.
Oh, my God.
And Cormier says, "I had to come over there and spit in your face right now." And Jon Jones says, "I would kill you." I'm not saying I would kill you.
But I'm not saying I would fight you. I said I would kill you.
John, do you think? So John, do you think I'm just gonna sit there and let you kill me, John? I mean, really?
Yeah, you guys are.
Jon Jones has like German Shepherd dogs that he that do all the attack shit, shoots guns. Jon Jones has a very dark side to him, right?
I like how your example of how bad he is.
You put two
dogs.
I'm just telling you, Jon Jones during the craziness
of all the things that he has.
No, but
he's got German Shepherds. This guy's a
no, but he's that guy.
German Shepherds.
You know what I mean? He's that fucking guy. He's not just fucking like when all the craziness was going on during the pandemic and everybody was rioting and all this shit was going on.
He was ready.
Do you know that Jon Jones was like downtown, like ripping spray paint cans out of kids' hands?
Give me the spray can. Yeah, give me the spray can. Give me the spray can. Give me the spray can.
Hey, look, I ain't doing
Give me the spray can.
I ain't doing
It's not the way,
nothing.
man. Spray can.
I ain't doing nothing.
Give me the spray can. Here.
My town.
Maintaining order.
I'll beat your fucking ass. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, Jon Jones is the fucking baddest dude. Then he goes out for 3 years, right? Sits out for 3 years, comes back, and beats
Ciryl
Gane. Like that. Easily. In my opinion, he does the same thing to Francis.
What?
100%. Does the same thing to Francis. Jon Jones, Francis didn't want to fight Jon Jones. Jon Jones is the scariest, most badass fighter of all time.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but he hasn't fought in a long time. But in Stipe, or in a longer time,
He got hurt.
I get it. I'm not criticizing.
He was trying to fight.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, well, it's not like he's just fucking sitting around and doesn't want to fight. The guy came to
I'm not
fight.
saying
It's
that.
the first injury he's ever had. And listen to me. I'm not defending Jon Jones. You know what I mean? Jon Jones has been one of my biggest fucking headaches in the entire time that I've been in this company, right? And the guy hasn't been the model, fighter in the company. No matter what you think of Jon Jones, he's the fucking best ever, and he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world. And he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world.
Yeah. Well, except that he hasn't fought in the last year, so he's not.
Because he got hurt. He got injured.
But if you don't,
if you were coming into a fight and you fucking got hurt, that means you're not the pound for pound best fighter in the world anymore? How does that even make sense? It doesn't make sense.
When he fights,
right? If he was sitting out and fucking getting arrested and running around or whatever, and you're like, well, Jon Jones is inactive, I'd say, maybe you're right. But as an educated adult who knows the fight business, you cannot deny that while Jon Jones is active, he is the greatest fighter in the world.
Did I not say that?
Yes. I don't know what you're arguing about here. I don't even know how we're in this conversation. Where are the helicopters when you need them?
Who's in the conversation for the greatest of all time?
Jon Jones. He's never been beat. He destroyed everybody at light heavyweight, which at the time was the toughest weight class. And then he moved up to heavyweight, won easily at heavyweight. And when you look at a guy, you look at what he was doing outside the octagon at the same time, which shouldn't be part of it, shouldn't be part of the equation. But when you do, wow. Jon Jones, there's no debate. Nobody can debate who's the greatest of all time. It's absolutely positively Jon Jones. He's never lost. No, he's never been beat in the octagon ever.
Get him higher and bring him to another level in his in the sport?
I don't know if there is another level. I think he is the level. He's the level. I mean, I've heard stories that I don't know if they're true or not true. If the stories are true that I've heard of Jon Jones in the past when he was the dominant light heavyweight champion, wow. Stories of not training and partying too much and just showing up here and fighting these incredible fights and beating the absolute best in the world. And even if you look at him tonight, he's had 3 years to put on the weight. you know, a lot of people were saying, I don't know, he looks soft. What if this, that, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Ciryl Gane is a monster in great physical shape and everything else. Jon Jones went in there and just treated him like he was a little kid. So I think he is the level. I don't know if there's any other level higher than Jon Jones.
Losing sometimes is a catalyst for greatness.
I don't disagree. But when you've never lost, right? Yeah. It's this, you've never lost.
He's got one loss on his record. He lost to Stipe Miocic. This is a guy that should have never, ever been a referee. And Jon Jones did not lose that fight. Jon Jones destroyed the guy that he fought in that fight. And this guy f***ed the fight up. Jon Jones is undefeated. Never lost. And he went through murderer's row.
Who's your number one boxer, by the way?
You get in a room this big, Jon Jones can f***ing grab you.
That's it.
And once he puts his f***ing hands on you, you're done, man. And if you're in a scenario where it's only one guy's walking out of the room and this guy gets on top of you, you're dropping let's not even talk about illegal that you could do.
Yeah.
You do not want to with Jon Jones.
He's got German Shepherds.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, when you talk about who the baddest man on the planet is, two guys get locked in a room, who's walking out? It's Jon Jones all day, every time.
Oh, and the other thing that you measure is, you know, when you said dominance, it's true. If you're this guy that has unbelievable power and you're just going in and you're just knocking everybody out and nobody's ever pulled you into the deep water before, that was when my opinion of Jon Jones started to change. Gustafsson took him into the deep water. Gustafsson hit him with some shit he'd never been hit with. Gustafsson tested him and put Jon Jones in a place where I bet if you sat down and interviewed Jon Jones, going into the deep rounds of that, Jon Jones thought he was going to die. You know what I'm saying?
And he's willing to go there.
And he kept going. He was willing to do whatever it took to win that fight.
And it breaks my heart because he beat DC, and DC is one of the greatest of all time.
That's the thing too. And I believe that DC doesn't get the credit he deserves because of the Jon Jones thing. When you look at DC and what he's accomplished, right? And Jon Jones beat him twice.
Yeah.
It's undeniable. You can hate all you want. Jon Jones is the greatest of all time. And did I mention he's got like German Shepherds? And like that, he's like all into that too. This dude will kill you every way that you can possibly be killed. Okay? That's just it.
Wow.